Here I am on Staten Island. Somewhat misbegotten adventure so far. I'll say more about that later. But there's a new to me telephone exchange name. I guess that's GI. I have no idea what that means. Or what that stands for. So far, the only upside of this little adventure, besides spotting that old telephone exchange name number, only upside seems to be that I didn't get motion sickness on the boat on the Staten Island ferry. Although I think I might have been in denial about it. What does GI mean? That kind of just seems like an awkward operator. Give me GI too. Does it mean giant? Yeah, see, these old fence bugs are frequently reliable places to find those old exchange names. That wasn't one of them, though. What does GI mean, though? Is it giant? Is it give me? Is it GIlligan, GIlligan, what's her name? Gillibrand? I don't know. Or maybe it's just GI for general infantry. Maybe that's it. So I've been messing around with this woman. And all the fun was fun and everything, but I decided to go back with her to Staten Island. She's not usually one to stay the night, and I didn't do this by any means of intention or anything, but I got her kind of drunk. And I guess she just doesn't drink. And she's fine now, but she was not ready for a long Uber trip back. So she stayed over, and I guess this was fortuitous in its way because it became painfully obvious we have absolutely nothing to talk about. Nothing. She's trying to get me to watch Beyonce videos, and I'm like, dude, I have no problem with Beyonce, but I don't really relate. We had some fun, though. So you know what I need to do is I need to learn how to write apps, or maybe find one that does what I'm thinking of right now. But like, I have a list of places I want to check in on, be it a payphone location or whatever. Could be other things. Look at those ugly links. Anyway, I have a list of these locations that I want to hit up, and they're not always on my way. So maybe there's an app out there that will alert me when I'm within a half a mile or a mile of something. I didn't need it in this case because I'd written this one down a while ago. But there should be a dead phone somewhere up ahead. Somewhere up ahead near an intersection of the street. There should be an app that reminds you when, oh right, I'm within half a mile of this place that I've been meaning to look at, or a friend I've been meaning to check in on, or something like that. think that would be kind of cool. Which reminds me of another app idea that I had in mind where, in the opposite vein, like, you're within half a mile of this bar that you've always wanted to be, or you're within half a mile of, some museum or some tourist attraction. I don't know. There should also be one that warns you when you're out of range of something, when you're out of range of a pharmacy, or you're out of range of alcohol, or you're out of range of anybody you know. Certain taking disaster planning to a different level. And maybe that kind of app is already out there, I don't know. Change zippers. Those zippers just disappear. As long as I'm here, I might as well document the architectural variety of things. There's really no pattern here. Nugent Street, or Nugent Avenue. I was just reading about, or an article about Kansas. And they're having an election on abortion. And that's on Tuesday. And I was distracting myself from the substance of the article with how uncomfortable the word Kansans looked. I don't know why. Kansan. Why can't you be a Kansanian or something? Those trees are cool. But the substance of the article, it's like just disgusting that abortion is a political matter. Seriously, next thing they're going to take away your right to masturbate. I don't mean to sound flip or flip off, because there are those out there who still believe the interpretation of the Bible that Onan wasted his seed and this angered the Lord. And that's the chapter and verse that's all you need to prove that God does not want you masturbating. And then there's the whole waste of seed thing. As if all seeds, the only purpose for ejaculating is to inseminate. I mean, seriously, why don't they go after that next? Prosecute people who admit to doing it, who admit to masturbating. Or who get caught, even worse. Okay, well, if my research is correct, and I do believe it is, there should be a long abandoned phone right around the corner here. Oh, yeah. Hello. This is courtesy of my public records research, which has turned up a lot more of these than I would have expected. And this dog is going to start yapping at me. There's some nice graffiti. Nice and wholesome. Dung. Dung on the White Castle logo. Hi, dog. Trying to be careful about the dog. Oh, there you go. That fence doesn't look unjumpable to me. bottle of beer and a shot of coconuts liqueur. I don't do that kind of stuff. 99 proof. Wow. I think the stiffest I ever did was... What was it anyway? I think it was 95. Alright, well, here's your Staten Island abandoned payphone carcass for the day. I'm gonna hunt around, see if there are any others. Oftentimes when you find one like this, there'll be others in the area, but there's no guarantee. Just for the hell of it, here's this angle from across the street. It's 552 Midland Avenue, by the way. True to my habits, I did no real planning for this little adventure, except to write down the address and instructions to take the Staten Island Rail to Grant City and then just walk this way. And that more or less proved to be enough. So now here I am in the middle of a parking lot. I didn't realize I was walking toward the water. There's the Verrazano. I'm probably not going to find any other derelict phones today. And this trip took a lot longer than I expected. Oh, right, so I was saying how easy it would seem, based on my notes, to just take the Staten Island Rail to Grant City and walk that way. But guess what? The Staten Island Rail wasn't running today. Today's Sunday. So I had to take this really gut-wrenching, like twisty-turny shuttle bus route through all kinds of craziness. It was fun, actually, but and the woman, she took another bus. I think she took the S44. And that's probably the last I'm going to see of her. Where am I anyway? Oh, I'm in a parking lot. That's a handy sign. Okay, it's Midland Beach. But I prefer to call it parking lot. I like the beach, but I don't think I've ever swum in a New York City one. I've been in some Long Island ones. I used to go to Daytona Beach all the time because that's where my dad lived when I was in high school. And that's where he lived all the way until he died. But the New York City beaches, I don't know, they're usually very, very crowded. This is obviously not the case here. But there's no surf, except out on Rockaway, of course. I don't surf on boards or anything, but that's the kind of water I want to be in if I'm going to go to a beach. rough waters or tumultuous waters. Which reminds me, I want to do this. Got an unidentified flying object here. I don't know what that says. Oh, it looks like beer. I believe that's what it is. It'll be clearer to me when I watch this video later. But anyway, the beach always reminds me of this when I was at my first corporate job. They brought in this, like, I don't know, $500 an hour consultant to come in and do some team building. So that's just one of the many ways big companies burn money. But this woman would ask, part of what she did was to just ask a bunch of cryptic seeming questions and then zap you with what it means about you. These were like litmus test questions. So she'd ask you like a seemingly innocuous question and a follow-up. And then she'd be like, well, this means you're a psychopath, or this means you're an intellectual, or this means you overthink things. I don't know what. So one of the questions was, what is your favorite body of water and why? And the one guy answered, I like the lake because it makes me feel calm and serene. Oh, and by the way, there were like 10 people in the room, and everybody else had already answered this question. So they already knew what it meant, or what it supposedly meant. Because me and this other guy, we had missed that session, so we were catching up. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. So he says, yeah, I like the lake because it makes me feel serene and whatever. So I said, well, I like the beach. And she said, well, how does it make you feel? And I said, dirty. And I stand by that, by the way. That's one of the things, that's what I like about the beach, is it's the rough and, rough waters, rough and tumble. So it turns out the meaning of this question, your answers to this question revealed how you like your sex. So the first guy liked his sex all peaceful and serene, and I like mine dirty. And I would never disagree with that. As annoying as those type of questions are, it's it's not wrong. And my answer, what it revealed about me, was not wrong. Let's take one last look at this beautiful parking lot. I'm going to start heading back. I just thought that was a funny name for a street. Reminds me of my old regular bar was Sunswick, which is an old Native American word, which had a connection to what is today Astoria. I think the Sunswick legend was that it meant, the Native American term meant like place of the high woman or something like that. It was a reference to narcotics. Anyway, it's just Just a Staten Island street. This is Midland Avenue. Remember when I was a kid, they started putting these traffic circles in, and nobody could ever understand why. They didn't seem to have any positive effect, but anytime I go back to Tampa, I encounter the ones that they put in when I was a kid, 30-something years ago. And they still stand out to me as being new. I also never got used to the zip code change. I don't remember how old I was, but 33612 was the zip code. And it seemed there was nothing you could do to change it. It was part of my identity. That's where I got my mail, after all. That's a key part of my identity, or I thought it was back then. That's why I'm so hung up on giving up the 181 after all this time. That's why I'm shopping around for another one. But they changed the zip code where I grew up from 33612 to 33613. And to this day, whenever I send a letter back home, I have to remind myself that, oh right, the zip code changed. That was probably like 35 years ago now. What am I talking about? There's an interesting looking tree.
Marco prepara el trabajo, él lo prepara. Y después de la prepara, yo lo termino soldando. Yo lo termino todo.
I know I have a dirty mind and everything, but seriously, this just looks like got a big, huge vagina to me. At a glance, that is.
Maggie, ¿por dónde nos vamos a pasar? Sí, señora.
I can't take no like to be able to be with our school.
next Ferry. Ladies and gentlemen, the ferry has arrived. At this time, all passengers must leave the boat all ashore. Once we're still all ashore. Once we're still getting off.
You did?
This one does not work. This one does not work. This one does not work. This is the only one that works now. I forget what the count was last time I was here. I remember sometime in recent memory all but one worked. Now it's the opposite. I'm not sure what to say about the St. George terminal. I tried to make a call from one, but I'm not sure it actually worked. A couple of them connected to the daily prayer, but I wasn't feeling spendy enough to make any more phone calls.